So I have a confession to make. The reason why I'm here today is because I need your help. Mining, the whole industry right now is under extreme pressure to reach sustainability. Government's making drastic changes, as you heard this morning. Your investors are making changes. And unfortunately, my industry is a big part of why we haven't achieved sustainability faster. So my name is Jonathon Bell. I'm the Vice President of Dynapro Pumps, and my company's mission is to accelerate the transformation to sustainable mining. Last year, I had the pleasure of attending my first Discoveries conference and learned a great deal from all the presenters. And this year, I hope to provide that same value for each of you. So why should everyone in the mining ecosystem care about pump systems? I mean, most of the people in this conference are involved in pumps. Here's the reason why. 20% of the world's energy is actually from pump systems, consumed by pump systems. So to put this into perspective, all of North America combined, Canada, the US, Mexico, contributes or consumes 23% of the world's energy. This isn't even the big number that you should be concerned about. The big number that you should be concerned about is that 50% of this energy consumption can be saved. Imagine half of the electricity that we're consuming in North America right now could be saved. And this has been done there's been studies by the United Nations, by the Department of Energy in the United States, the Hydraulic Institute, the British Pump Manufacturers Association. And they've studied thousands of pump systems, and they found on each one of these systems that they could save up to 50% of the energy consumption. In mining, up to 80% of the energy you're consuming is from the pump system. So this means we're talking about saving up to 40% of the energy consumption. And in terms of water, we heard earlier from the lawyer regarding the water consumption. Each pump system uses anywhere from 10 to 1,000 liters of water per minute to cool and lubricate the pump system. When operated inefficiently, which is what's happening in most cases, we're requiring 50 to 600% more water to cool and lubricate the pump. And there's been technology that's existed longer than me that can prevent this from happening. We can eliminate this water by 80%. So why is this happening? The first issue is pump suppliers need to do better. Right now, we're not selling the product properly. Right now, we're approaching the product as this is the most efficient pump, and it costs this amount, and that's pretty much your quotation, and that's what we're delivering to our clients. But we're not telling the true story about the pump system and why it's costing so much more in energy and water consumption. Which leads us to the second part, which is the role of training and certification. We don't have the proper training and certification in the industry right now. I've looked high and low. I've taken different companies' trainings. I've been certified with different pump trainings. There's nothing that truly exists that gives the people who are actually operating the pump systems, the pump operators and the maintenance people, all the tools necessary to solve this problem. And here's what happens. So this is looking at the first 7 years, the life cycle of the pump. And this is from the Hydraulic Institute. And this is what they've done for when they're measuring the energy consumption. So this doesn't even take into account the water consumption. But what you can see here is the initial cost of a pump is only 10% of the pump system's life. cycle costs. The actual cost is in the maintenance and the energy consumption, but no one's paying attention to this. They're only paying attention to the upfront cost of the pump. So, it's difficult to see. However, this is the report that we've been working on and something that we've been doing to solve the problem. But you can see, maybe you can see better than I can, on these first three right here is the cost of the pump, the initial cost. The first one's $50,000 or $55,000, the next two are $70,000, okay? And typically when we're selling a pump to a mine, the thing that they're looking at is the efficiency of the pump. But that doesn't actually take into account for how much energy you're going to consume, how much water you're going to consume, or even the CO2 that it's going to produce. So this actually takes a look, and in this case, we use this 14 by 12, which is the suction of the pump is 14 and the discharge is 12. And we've taken a look at it, and it tells you the difference of what the consumption is over the 25 years. And to put it into perspective, here you can see the total energy. I mean, the charts, if you can't see it, are going to tell you the difference. But really what happens is the energy goes up by anywhere from 30 to 50%. The actual water to cool and lubricate the pump system goes up 30, 80%. And then you can see the CO2, in this case, it's 5,000 tons of extra CO2 over 25 years. And the last part, the total spare parts. So the maintenance of a pump system is actually directly related to how much energy and water it's consuming. And it's a telltale sign. So the more energy your pump system's consuming, the more times you're going to have to do maintenance. It means it's wearing down faster. And on this pump, the example, and these are examples that we have from the industry, we went from spending $2.6 million in spare parts over the 25 years to spending $13 million just in spare parts alone, okay? So we're talking about a difference of approximately $11 million. When we walk into these mines, they typically have about 300 of these pumps. So you can do the math yourself and how it's affecting your total cost of production. So this is actually how we deliver our selection, and the selection provides you the complete breakdown, measuring everything that you need, the water consumption, the electrical consumption, the spare parts consumption. And what we can do is we can actually measure how much maintenance is going to be required. And it's by these different factors, by how fast the pump's running, the materials of the pump, the design of the pump, things like that. So we can actually predict it. But what's not predictable is how it's operated and maintained. And this is the real challenge. So mine operations and maintenance teams need more than adequate training. We don't have any global certification for this right now. Mining, maintenance, and operations teams are making the purchasing decisions, but they're making these purchasing decisions without the proper information. They're basing it on, what's your price of the pump? How fast can you deliver it to me? Instead of looking at the actual life cycle cost of the pump. So the real costs are in the maintenance, water, and energy consumption, not the initial pump costs. So who needs to be certified? Well, it starts with the actual pump suppliers and pump manufacturers. We have to have the salespeople, the applications engineers, everyone who's involved in the process of delivering that quotation to the customer. They need to be fully trained and certified. The next part is the mine maintenance and operations teams. The people who are going to be in front of these pump systems for the next 25 years have to have the proper training. Right now, if you walk into any mine here in Mexico and ask them what training they've received, there'll probably be a blank look on their face. Okay, and then the last part is purchasing and stakeholders. You need to understand what you're purchasing for your operation and how it affects the outcome of your operation. So as I mentioned, our mission is to accelerate the transformation to sustainable mining. So what we've done is created the Pump Systems Academy and OptimumFlow, which is a software system that supports it. So the Pump System Academy was developed to train these people who don't have the proper certification. And I'm happy to say we've been working really hard on this. We're the first company that actually has applied to the Secretary de Trabajo here in Mexico, and will provide DC3 certification for all of the mine staff. And then above and beyond that, it's not possible for a company like mine to be in the field there all the time with the operators and maintenance team. So we created OptimumFlow. And what OptimumFlow does is when they see any symptoms or causes in the pump system that might trigger that there's a problem, they implement it into the system. And from there, within minutes, it gives them the training that they need. And it's a 2-minute training, a 5-minute training, a 10-minute training. Very quick, precise training so that they have the tools to go back in front of the pump system and solve the problem. And here's all the people that it focuses on helping is the maintenance teams, the operations teams, purchasing, stakeholders, sales, application engineers, and then, of course, students, because we need to start training the future engineers. So I attend a lot of the shareholder meetings, and I read a lot of the ESG reports from the mining companies. And this is kind of typical what you see, this diagram here. And when I look at pump systems, it covers off so many with air, land, water, cost, health, safety. So when we're looking at this, my question is, why aren't we spending more time looking at our pump systems? We have the opportunity to hit so many points on these diagrams. When you're focused on sustainability, your pump system should be at the top of mind. So I asked at the beginning of this presentation for your help, and the help that I'm hoping that you will provide me is to share this information. We all have large networks. You might personally not be involved in pump systems, but someone in your network is, and they need to understand the impact this is having on mining reaching sustainability. So thank you for sharing this story.